What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. We'll be talking about another striker linked with Arsenal today, Dusan Vlahovic. I know we've spoken about him a number of times, people, but we are being linked with him. Yesterday we were speaking about the boy Torreira going on his way to Fiorentina, and we were saying, why don't Arsenal speak to Fiorentina and try and do a little deal? You know, you take Torreira, we'll take Vlahovic, and we make it happen. Well, it seems as if Arsenal were listening. They're talking about him today. Listen, I know 50% of you will probably be sitting there now thinking, no chance, no way you get Vlahovic. Bigger, better clubs will want him. And I hear you on that one as well. I wouldn't expect it. But at the same time, stranger things have happened in football. You know, no disrespect to Fiorentina, but I would still say that we're an attractive proposition if you were leaving Fiorentina at this moment in time. And I'm going to speak about one or two reasons why I think the deal wouldn't be entirely impossible. And we're going to speak about that. Big up to everyone for tuning in today. Lots of transfer speculation going off today surrounding Arsenal. Players going, players coming in. And like Jay Mystery said, at least we're asking the question. If you don't buy the ticket, you can't win the draw, people. And at least we're buying a ticket and having a go. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in today. Really appreciate your support as always. Big up to all the members who joined us for the live stream, the member stream yesterday, and who interacted and spoke, and some of you who've just joined as well. So big up to all of you. We will be doing more member streams moving forward. Curtis Ornstein, listen, man, you know what I mean? I'm no transfer guru, people. I'm just going to discuss it, why I think it could happen and why it probably won't happen. Pep Teta, you got me early on. If you ain't Tottenham, stand up. You got me. You get me once, people. And by the way, happy Tuesday to all Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, because I have to admit, did you half cheer me up last night with that performance? I mean, I turned that game on. I don't know how anybody else was thinking, but I'm just sitting there thinking, this is a case of how many goals Man United beat Wolves by. I saw no way that Wolves would win that game. Wolves beat Manchester United 1-0, and I'm sorry, I say this is a football community, I've got no problem. Whoever you support, as long as you support this channel, is cool. But I can't help it. Growing up, man, Arsenal, Man United, I always had that, that was the rivalry, man. So when Man United lose, I can't help it. It gives me a certain pleasure that it shouldn't, but it does, people. 1-0. The Wolves manager was blowing a kiss at the camera. It was all mad. It was all mad. Cristiano Ronaldo's getting booed. The manager's getting hammered. Wreck-It Ralph, they're calling him, Ralph Tax. Maybe Ollie was better than him. I don't know, but I can't help it, people. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I can't lie. Big up to Tim Morgan for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate that, bro. And look out for the members' content coming up. I can't help it, man. Laughing at Manchester United is something that, Arsenal fans have to do. We have to do that. It's just part of the upbringing that we've had, this man here, Thierry, So, yeah, Ralph got wrecked. I mean, apparently the Man United players are turning on him already. I don't know if anybody's read the reports, but apparently most professional clubs train at about 10 o'clock in the morning. You train for a couple of hours. You're finished by midday. So then the rest of the day is yours. And Ralph Rangnick has moved training from 10 o'clock in the morning to, I believe, about 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon. So the players aren't finishing till about 3:30 in the afternoon, right in the middle of the day, and they're sulking about it. So apparently, there's already problems there. But hey, let me leave them to it. Let me leave them to it. Saeed, you ain't going to see Saeed today. Saeed's going to stay out the way, that's for sure. He only trolls when, he's got something to troll us about. But hey, that's their problem. Wreck-It Ralph settings. Let's talk about Arsenal Football Club. I don't know how anyone else feels. I still can't believe we lost to City. But let me move on. I don't want to get caught up in it too much. I'm gonna concentrate on moving forward. We gotta let it go. Stuart Atwell, You know, somebody brought it to my attention, Latte, yesterday on the member stream, that Stuart Atwell was actually banned from refereeing at one stage. Yet they reintegrated him into refereeing and put him back into the Prem. How does that work? The man got banned, you know. That's how bad he was as a ref. But anyway, let me leave it. Let me get a few comments. Mrs. Penalty Spot's here now. Hey, Curtis, hubby got me to join. Loving the streams. We got Mrs. Penalty Spot and Mr. Penalty Spot. Big up to you. Welcome to the channel. And big up Mr. Penalty Spot for introducing you, you know. Saeed was eaten by wolves. I can't lie. Caps, big up to you. Let's go into Granit Xhaka mode. So I do not miss any of your brilliant comments. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. We're about 200 away now from 40k. So we're close, people. We're getting closer by the day. Is today the day we hit it? If 200 of you have not subscribed yet, smash that button to pieces in the way Granit Xhaka grabs Bernardo Silva's shirt, people. Just grab that subscribe button and let's keep it moving. No C settings today, people. I ain't seen him doing that for a while. But anyway, let me move on. Let me not get too caught up in Manchester United. Let's talk about Dusan Vlahovic. Arsenal being linked with him today. Now, for me, this should be one of, if not the top priority striker that we should go for. I like Osimhen as well at Napoli. I can't lie, because he's very, very quick. But I think he would cost an absolute fortune. I think you're talking 80, 90 million to get him. You know, Napoli paid 65 million for him. They're not going to sell him on the cheap. So we're being linked with Dusan Vlahovic. Now, I'm going to give you reasons why I think this deal has no chance of happening. And I'll give you reasons why I think this deal does have a chance of happening. And we'll go through it and break it down. I think sometimes it's too clear-cut to just say it won't happen or it will. Before I do move on, that one is incredible. The tweet of the night, somebody tweeted CR7th. I'm sorry, that tickled me. I can't lie. That one tickled me. I had to bring that up. CR7th, you know. The man came to Man United to win the title in the Champions League. He's 7th. He can't... Nah, don't get me caught up. I need Saeed on the channel this week. I need to speak to a Man United fan. But let me leave it. They're 7th. Oh, man, leave it. Leave it alone. I can't. It's making me laugh even thinking about it, you know. They're booing him. They're booing him. He should have gone to Man City. He should have. Can you imagine how many goals Ronaldo would have scored at Manchester City with Pep, with Kevin De Bruyne, with Bernardo, with Sterling, all the creativity? He got the phone call from Ferguson. He played the guilt trip and guilt-tripped him back to Manchester United. And look at the United. CR7th. I'm done. That's the best tweet I saw all night. But let me move on. You're distracting me here, people. Oh, my days. Right. Dusan Vlahovic. This guy, for me, is not impossible for us to sign. And there's a few reasons. Big up the legend that is School Fuggery. CR7, sweet! Chris, you're right. It's a guaranteed golden boot at City. At United, he'll probably get the wooden spoon. But we move, people. We move. Let's talk about Dusan Vlahovic. 21 years old. Fiorentina striker, Serbian international, has 18 months left on his contract. He has 18 months left on his contract. Why I think this deal is not impossible. This is why I don't think it's impossible. Dusan Vlahovic, I've been doing some reading on him. He earns £25,000 a week. Now, I know in regular terms to us, you know, or maybe some of you are balling out there, but, you know, to me, 25 grand a week, you know, you're living mad. But within football terms, 25 grand a week is absolute peanuts. Let's be honest. Now, I'm reading reports that he may want up to £200,000 a week to leave Fiorentina. Now, the crazy thing is, Arsenal can drop 200 grand a week on this guy with ease. We gave Willian 200 grand a week. And look how that one worked out. You're talking about one of the best young strikers in Europe at the moment. You know, like people are saying, I want to put that into context. Alex Runarsson earns more money than Vlahovic. Probably the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen play for Arsenal. He earns more money than Dusan Vlahovic. We can drop 200 grand a week on this guy if we really want him. Big up to Soul for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate that. 1,000 of you in the chat already. Can we get 1,000 likes and subscribe? 200 of you subscribe. Let's hit 40k. Maybe it'll be giveaway settings tomorrow if we hit it, people. Why not? Money talks, people. Money talks. You remember the song Dizzy Rascal? Money talks. Money talks. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you more. Give him the money, man. Turn up with the envelopes. Turn up with the suitcase. What do you want it in? You want it in euros? You want it in pounds? You want it in dollars? Give it him. You turn up there. Apparently his agent's not answering the phone right now. He's treating us like a side dish. You turn up with 200 grand a week, a couple of million signing on fee, and then let's see if his agent answers the phone or not. Money talks, people. Sell him the project. Big up Latte with the super chat. He said, shout out Big C, shout out Mr. and Mrs. Penalty Spot, best content creator. Big up to you, bro, and appreciate you coming on yesterday. Jay Mystery said, give him 120k and he'll come. The man's on 25k a week. We're probably paying like Aubameyang or Lacazette. They're probably getting that in goal bonus. You know what I mean? 10 times, nearly 10 times the wage we can get. I'm sorry. No matter what job you do right now, no matter what job you do, if I walk into your office, into your building site, whatever you do, if I walk in there and you tell me, oh, I'm happy here, I don't want to leave, I love this job. If I offer you 10 times your wages, you're gonna have to have a think about it. Let me tell you that. Even if you didn't want to leave, if I offer you 10 times your wages, you are going to think about it. Get Edu on the jet ski, get him to Florence. Yeah. Well, I see him. Big up to you, bro. Said FaceTime him, offer him the big bucks and some hair gel. I'm telling you, Arteta, give him your secret to that hair, man. The shampoo, all of it. Let him know. Let's turn up with that money, man. Toro said 200k, way too much for a 21-year-old with one season of production. Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Are Arsenal convinced enough by him to lay down that kind of money? Because he's had one big season. He's having another good season. I'm looking at his stats. He's 21 years of age. He turns 22 at the end of this month. 21 league goals in 37 games last season. He's already scored 16 league goals in 19 games this season with 2 assists. Now, I've watched quite a bit of him because I've been trying to keep a close eye on him for a while. If you were asking me to describe him, I would describe him as a Giroud with more pace. That's kind of how I would describe him. Tall, left-footed, strong, wins his flick-ons, holds the ball up well, but can kind of run a little bit more than Giroud. Giroud couldn't run facing the goal, really. He was a back-to-goal striker, or headers, or flick-ons. He's a bit smaller than Giroud, but quicker. Certainly a bit more mobile. And I think at 21 years of age, he's a big, big prospect. One thing that I've always said, when you're going to spend big money on a new striker, we haven't seen him in the Champions League. We haven't seen him on the world stage yet. So sometimes you have that thing, is he as good as he looks like? You know, I've seen Immobile bang goals in Italy, go elsewhere and struggle. I don't know. Serie A is a strong league, so it's not like he's doing it in a second-rate league. Left-footed army said Zhao. Rohan said spot-on description. Anybody who's seen quite a bit of him, chuck a comment in. Let me know how good you think he is. Apparently, Fiorentina are willing to potentially sell him now in January. AZ said swap Aubameyang for CR7. I mean, I'm not sure CR7 would want to come to Arsenal, you know. We're massive, Curtis said Albert. I mean, let's just read the report. This is coming out of Gazzetta dello Sport, who have said Arsenal's latest offer for Vlahovic is 55 million euros plus Lucas Torreira, who has a value of 15 million euros, taking the total cost to 70 million, with the club hoping to tempt Fiorentina to have Vlahovic immediately. Officials at Fiorentina are considering the offer. Now, how you've got to dress this deal up to Fiorentina, you've got to say, listen, let's be honest, Fiorentina, you don't have that many players that are worth huge money. This kid's got 18 months left on his contract. If you don't sell him now, and he goes into the last year of his contract and he has an injury, a loss of form, all of a sudden, you ain't getting no big money for him. You're getting 20, 25 million for him. You're not getting 55 million plus a player. So you've got to kind of scare Fiorentina into thinking, you know what? We need the money. We can't risk this becoming an opportunity missed. With Vlahovic is the problem, because Vlahovic, I've read an interview and he is saying he doesn't really want to leave the club until the summer. He wants to get Fiorentina into Europe. They're currently 8th in the league and they have an opportunity of getting a Europa League spot. And he said in an interview, his dream is to lead Fiorentina back to Europe before thinking about moving in the summer. So the problem is convincing him to leave that club in January. Schoolfuggery said, surely more of these young players are seeing what Haaland has done and sees the benefit in moving to a Dortmund tier team before a mega move. Boost your profile, build a brand and still get big money. And that's a good point. I would be saying to Vlahovic, okay, they're saying one of the clubs that wants him are Atletico Madrid. Now, I would say to him, okay, we know Atletico Madrid are a big boy club right now, Champions League, all of that. Look what's happened to João Felix at Atletico Madrid. They don't play the football that suits him and he's struggling and his profile has dropped. He could come to Arsenal, live in London, play in the Prem, get 7, 8 times the wage. And I know it sounds horrible to look at us like this, but we'd almost be a stepping stone for him. So even if he comes here for 3 or 4 years and then you go and play for Real Madrid, obviously you hope that in those 3 or 4 years, you can convince him that he doesn't need to go elsewhere. But I think you can do that to him. At 21, are you ready to go and play for Real Madrid or somebody like that? You know, we know that Simeone sometimes with attacking players, it doesn't work out. Thomas Lemar, you know, João Felix, they're players that have gone there and struggled to thrive in that Simeone system. Jashar says, big up Curtis, until I see Edu is wearing his blue suit free of barbecue stains on Arsenal website, any signing is a myth. I hear you on that, Jay. Hichim said, Fiorentina, however, may be forced to sell him now rather than in the summer because of his contract situation. As I said, I would be trying to scare Fiorentina into pushing him out the door and saying, listen, you let him get to a year left on his deal. Number one, clubs may wait because they'll say in 6 months we can offer him a contract and take him for nothing. And if he has any kind of injury, you're finished. You can't sell him. Clubs are going to sit there and wait till his contract runs out. Can a club like Fiorentina turn down 55 million euros plus Lucas Torreira, that is a player that they want? Big up Ryan Williams, who said, the only issue I have is that the loan for Torreira, there's a clause that says they can have him for 15 million euros. So how can he be thrown in this deal? Could you make me understand? So basically, what you would do, in theory, you would say you would reduce the price. So you could even basically say, you take him for nothing and we pay you 55 million for Vlahovic on top of it, you know, because that's only really what a player is. You can't get more than that really for a guy with 18 months left on his deal who's saying publicly he's not going to sign a new contract. So maybe rather than them paying the 15, you chuck him over there for free. Wow said, would he join us though? Listen, I would like to think, and this might be me thinking with my Arsenal hat on, I'm not being disrespectful to anybody who supports Fiorentina here. I'm not. We're a bigger club than Fiorentina. I know we're not the club that we were 10, 15 years ago, but we are still a step upwards for Dusan Vlahovic. You know, all right, say he goes to Atletico Madrid. You've got Suarez, you've got Griezmann, you've got João Felix. There's no guarantees you play in that team. And also, you might not like Simeone's style. He's big, strong, physical. He would probably suit the Premier League. And he could play every week for us. You're going to have pretty much no competition. Aubameyang's probably going to go. Lacazette's probably going to go. You're going to play every week. So It's an interesting one. He said get Haaland. I mean, we might get his dad. We might. I don't think we can get Haaland. That is for certain. Nimbo said can't phone him, knock his door. Damn Raul settings. Turn up at the house. Turn up at the house with a big bag of money, people, and see what he says. You've got to sell him the project. You've got to sell him the project. You got to say, look, let me say this to you. There's a good chance we'll be in Europe next season, minimum Europa League. If things go well, Champions League. Come here, 200 grand a week. Is he worth 200 grand a week? I would say no. If I'm being honest, I would say no. I don't think you should pay a 21-year-old 200 grand unless he's an absolute world beater. I'm talking like Mbappe, Haaland, them kind of levels. I still wouldn't want to give him 200 grand a week on the back of one season in Serie A. No disrespect. But, you know, it's one of them. Listen, I always think when a club is making offers for a player, somebody must have sounded them out. Arsenal can't be that delusional that they're just throwing offers on the table and they haven't had a conversation with someone previously. Surely they've communicated with the player, his agent, an intermediary, the club, somebody that has said, listen, if you get near those numbers, we will talk to you. If you offer 55 mil plus Torreira and you offer him 200k, we will talk. But we'll see. Toro said, when's the last time a young player really thrived when he moved directly to a mega club at 18 to 22? Only one I can think of is Mbappe. There aren't many. There aren't many. You know, usually they need that development. I would think, you know, you're thinking 10 years ago. I'm thinking probably like Wayne Rooney and players like that. I would say for Vlahovic, and I know people say you're just saying that. I think Arsenal would be a fantastic move for Vlahovic. Come to the Prem, the biggest league in the world, develop yourself, attacking football. We put a lot of crosses in. I think it would suit him, and I know it sounds horrible to say, you know, maybe we would be a stepping stone that in 2 or 3 years he goes to Real Madrid or Barca, but I would think that we have sounded somebody out. Cap said Curtis should be an agent on a reel. If only it was that simple, bro. You know what I mean? If only it was that simple. Camavinga last summer to Real, and has Camavinga thrived really at Real? I don't know. I haven't watched much of him, but I haven't heard a lot about him doing much, to be honest. Same thing happened to Renato Sanchez. Went to Bayern Munich as a teenager. Didn't happen for him. Had to rebuild. Fitzjoseph said Anelka. Listen, Anelka's special. Anelka is special. You know, this is why he goes on the green screen sometimes. R9, you know, we're talking about absolute levels of players. Not many have done that and gone and thrived elsewhere. They really haven't. Camavinga was injured. Snake Eye said, the talk is for a striker. I think we desperately need a ball-playing centre mid who is in this current market, fits what we are doing, and would be easy to get. Listen, I just think we need both. I really think we need both. I think we're desperate for the ball player. I also have this worry that if Lacazette gets injured, I'm concerned about the direction that we go in. I think our only real option would be move Martinelli central, put ESR back on the left. Because at the moment, it doesn't look like Aubameyang's going to be playing. And I don't want to see Eddie Nketiah or someone like that. I really don't. South London's Finest said, I would say to him, look at your countryman in Jovic, all the gas, and he is a sideman at Real. You know what? Wording it like that would be pretty straight to the point. But you make a great point. Jovic was hyped up. All of that hype in Bundesliga. Big Real Madrid turned up. Bro, you're only here to sit down until Benzema needs a rest. You know what I mean? They didn't buy Jovic to start. They bought you just, you know, Benzema was in his 30s. They thought, you know what, he can't play every week. Look at Jovic now. This man had to go back on loan to the Bundesliga. So I do think if you're clever enough, you're intelligent enough, you can sell this project to Vlahovic. And right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of these clubs don't have the money. We've got the money right now, people. That Premier League dough don't run out. You know what I mean? Turn up. Give Fiorentina the dough, scare them into selling him, and tell Vlahovic what he needs to hear, bro. You're 21, you've had one big year in Serie A. Don't worry about Juventus. Atletico Madrid. Them clubs are going to sit you down on the bench. Come and play for Arsenal. You seen the way we just mash work on City for 45 minutes, you're going to want to be a part of this. I'm telling you. You got to try and sell him the project, man. I'm telling you, I'll be talking like Arteta to sell him that project. But listen, I think the deal is doable. I know we've had all that talk that his agent's not answering the phone, he's pawing us off. I think Vlahovic, from what I've read, is thinking, I'm having a great time, I'm scoring goals, let me finish the season and then leave at the end of the season. That's going to make it more difficult because, other clubs will probably have cash on the hip in the summer and be able to go for him. I think Arsenal need to try and get him right now. And yeah, a bit of breaking news. Big up Swapnil. I just saw this before coming on. Aubameyang has just scored for Gabon. They're playing a friendly, a warm-up game for the AFCON, and he scored. It was a penalty, I believe. So, just thought I'd keep you up to date with Aubameyang's goings on and goings off. As he is at the AFCON, and he scored a penalty today. Pity he missed his last two penalties for Arsenal, so, we'll see what happens there. What was interesting today, people, is that Thomas Tuchel has come out today, for anybody that hasn't seen it, and he said all is forgiven with Romelu Lukaku. They had a meeting yesterday, they discussed everything, he explained the interview, and Lukaku has apologised wholeheartedly. And Thomas Tuchel said he's forgiven him, and he'll probably be in the squad for the Tottenham game, which is tomorrow. So it's interesting, isn't it? Lukaku and Tuchel have squashed their differences very quickly. Yeah, Aubameyang and Arteta, it's just, gone from one extreme to another, which is sad, really. What does that say? Does that mean Aubameyang is a bigger problem than Lukaku? Is Arteta more of a dictator than Tuchel, or is it just circumstances? I don't know. It's very interesting. Big up to Brandon, who said, big up Big C in the community. Can I get a shout out, bro? It's my birthday. Just tested positive yesterday. Worst birthday ever. Big up, Brandon. Happy birthday. Get well soon, bro. Hopefully everything figures itself out, and appreciate all your support on the channel, and hope you have a great birthday. Jay said Lukaku costs 96 million, Aubameyang is 32 and the contract is up in a year. Totally different situations. And you're right, because you know what? I was speaking to somebody yesterday who works with Chelsea on a Chelsea channel, and he said to me, if the circumstances were different, that Chelsea would bin him. But they can't, because they've invested so much money in him and they know they can't get that money back. So they have to persist with him. Where you're right, Arteta's looking at Aubameyang and thinking, he's disposable. And is he worth the hassle now with his goals kind of drying up? So, listen, you make a great point. Captain Sal said Arteta is stubborn and arrogant. I mean, it was interesting, wasn't it, that we performed so well against Man City up until we imploded. And people are saying, did we perform that well because Arteta wasn't there and we didn't have all that going off on the touchline? Were the players more relaxed, or was it purely coincidence? Were we going to play that good anyway? I'm not sure, but it's definitely something interesting to look at. Let's continue with the transfer news. And this time, we were obviously talking about the midfielder, Snake Eyes just said. And this story has come back up today, and that is former Liverpool midfielder Gini Wijnaldum. The story says Arsenal weigh up Wijnaldum bid ahead of January midfield exile. Mikel Arteta said last week in his press conference before he was tested positive that Arsenal were looking at potential loan deals as well. We were speaking yesterday and the day before about Bruno Guimaraes, who is a player I would love Arsenal to sign. But I think we also have to bear in mind, Arsenal spent more than any other team in the Premier League in the summer. They spent £150 million. Don't be surprised if Arsenal have very little money to spend in January. Now, I know we're all hoping they go and sign a Vlahovic or sign a Guimaraes, but they could quite easily turn around to Arteta and say, listen, we gave you 150 in the summer. You're going to have to get loans in. You look at last January, we signed Martin Odegaard and and Matt Ryan, the goalkeeper, 2 loans, who were decent loan signings. Now, I've got to be honest, I would take Gini Wijnaldum on loan. I would take him on loan. I would rather sign a permanent deal, a Bruno Guimaraes, maybe a Renato Sanchez, a Basuma, somebody like that. But if Arsenal's budget is restricted, which it could be, I think Gini Wijnaldum on loan is smart business in the loan market. Let's be honest, you're not going to get a world beater on loan. Why would a club give you a world-class midfielder on loan? It's not going to happen. I think at the moment, Arsenal, we have to realise where we are as a football club, how much money we've potentially got to spend. Beggars can't be choosers. We're talking about a Champions League winner, a Premier League winner, who only left the Premier League last season. He was starting for Liverpool. Now, as you're saying, O'Malley, his wages are outrageous, but let's be honest, we're talking about a 6-month loan with an option to buy. Now, I've read the story. The story says that Arsenal are looking at Wijnaldum as an option to bring to Arsenal on loan for 6 months with an option to buy. Now, I mean, Captain Sal is a Liverpool fan. You know, I think a lot of Liverpool fans at the moment are wishing that Wijnaldum was still there. When you look at the issues that Liverpool have had in midfield, I think it would be a no-brainer. I don't think Arsenal are in a position to reject that kind of deal if it was available. You're talking about a guy that has won the 2 biggest trophies he could win since he's been over here. He's a leader. You know, we've got a real lack of experience in midfield at the moment. I would ask this question first and foremost. Is Gini Wijnaldum better than Granit Xhaka? It's an absolute no-brainer. You know, I don't even need to wait for you to answer the question. You know, he's far better than Granit Xhaka. And at the moment, Granit Xhaka is our main midfielder with Thomas Partey being away at AFCON. So it's an interesting one. It's somebody that I would definitely look at. Apparently, he's on £200,000 a week. He's on 200 grand a week, and he's 31 years of age, people. Let's get a poll going. Why not? It ain't a stream without a poll going up, is it? So I'm going to quite simply ask, would you take Gini Wijnaldum on loan? As I say, for me, it's an absolute 100% no-brainer because he's better than what we've got. He's not at AFCON. He's experienced. You're talking about a loan. If it doesn't work out, you send him back. So for me, a no-brainer. Would you take Wijnaldum on loan at Arsenal? Get your votes in, people. I want to know what you think. Some of you might not want him. You might think he's a bit washed up. You might think he's too old. You might want a permanent deal rather than a loan. But Gini, for me, is a quality player. You know, 200 grand a week. The only problem is I wouldn't want him on no, obligation to buy. I wouldn't want to have to commit 200 grand a week at the end of the season to a 31-year-old. That is the only thing I would be saying. And I'm pretty sure if PSG are willing to get rid of him, clearly they're not happy with him. So they're going to try and get him off the wage bill. He turns 32 next year in November. Gini is far better than Granit Xhaka. Liverbird said, leave Gini alone. Don't bring him down to your level. Hey, relax, man. Just because you lot couldn't keep him, He went to PSG for the dough, although it hasn't worked out. Gooner8 said, Premier League proven. Glower TV said, yes, Los Angeles. Gooner, big up to you, bro. YLF said, 100% yes. Black Mamba said, 9 million net pro year. And as I said, permanent, I wouldn't want him on a permanent. I really wouldn't. I think to give 200 grand a week to a 31-year-old centre midfielder would be very, very risky. But on a 6-month loan with an option, I would be absolutely all over it. I would have no problem. Wijnaldum and Thomas Partey in midfield, when he comes back, I think would be a strong midfield. AZ said, Walmart money won't go dry, Big C. Go get Vlahovic. I hear you on that. Oz said, imagine a midfield with Odegaard, Partey and Wijnaldum with 6 months. I'm telling you, that's a good midfield. Experience of Wijnaldum, I'd be all over it. 1.8k watching. Big up to all of you, man. Really appreciate the support. Amazing numbers once again. Can we hit 1,000 likes? That's the usual target. And if 200 of you have not subscribed right now, yeah, I'm talking to you. If you haven't subscribed, lick down that button. We are 200 subscribers away from 40,000. Can we get that today? If we hit that today, I'll do a giveaway on the channel tomorrow. How about that? But let's see if we get there. But yeah, for me, Gini Wijnaldum would be an absolute no-brainer. Big up Adil, who said the Rona's got him. Get well soon, bro. Florida Water said, Gini, get him in, man. Get him in. There's no doubt that we're not in a position to be saying no to him on loan. As long as there's no obligation to buy him on a permanent deal, I would be all over it. You know, when you think about some of the midfielders we've signed in the past, Kim Kallstrom, Dennis Suarez, this would be a great one, that is for certain. Hakim said, did you see how good Neves was against Man U? He bossed it. He looked good. He looked good. We've been linked with him before. Ryan said, Big C, you heard about Renato to AC Milan. They're in talks. I mean, I'm not surprised. Somebody's going to take him. He's a quality player. And I've just always had this impression that Arsenal aren't sure about Renato Sanchez. You know, I feel like it's a deal that can be done. And they're not really sure whether they want to do it or not. Interesting that there's now been a few things revealed that Isaac has a £77 million release clause. No need to negotiate if the money is put on the table. I mean, we spoke about Isaac yesterday. For me, I wouldn't pay £77 million for him. I do like him as a player. I'm just not sure whether he's worth that kind of money. But yeah, Gini Wijnaldum, for me, definitely I would take him. Mikel the Cone Man said, Zakaria, Gini, Guimarães. That Zakaria, I believe, is a free agent in the summer. We could actually offer him a pre-contract agreement. As we were talking about yesterday, if a player has 6 months left on his deal right now, and you're in a different country, you can actually offer them a contract to join you at the end of the season. Osman Dembele is out of contract. Zakaria, Kessie, Insigne, Brozovic, Tarkovsky. There's quite a few. And, you know, I think one or two of them would be worth making offers for. Of course, Mbappe and Pogba, but we can only dream about those kind of players, unfortunately. Abubakar said, big up Big C, first time sending a chat. I like the Genie idea. We need experience, 100%, quality player, proven, leader. I think he has actually captained Holland before as well when Van Dijk was injured. So there is leadership qualities there as well. Greg said, get those brown envelopes ready, start the barbecue, do whatever you need to do. Get these deals done, people. I would definitely move for some of these players who are free agents in the summer. Six Shy said, get Guimarães. Listen, I'm a fan of Arsenal. Got the money in January. Time will tell. Zhao said, let's have a moment to laugh about Man United yesterday. I mean, CR7th, they were calling it, which was epic. Insigne signed for Toronto. Oh, okay, they must have thrown the bag at him, I'm assuming. Aaron Matthews said, big up Curtis, big fan of the channel from Dubai. The squad we are building around youth has to bear a huge consideration for Vlahovic. No other Premier League club is on the path we are. And he would tick the boxes in the sense that he's 21 years of age. Now, if you want this team to kind of grow together, then he fits in the bracket. I think where the problem would be, if you're giving 200 grand a week to a 21-year-old, what does that do to Saka, to Martinelli, to Smith Rowe? Are they going to look at it all of a sudden and go, well, I'm a similar age to him. He's had one good year in Serie A and you're giving him 200 grand a week. All of a sudden, my next contract, I want 160, 170 grand a week. So you do have to be careful when you throw big money at a young player, when you've got other youngsters around the place. Pudge said, can we all appreciate how good Daniel Podence is? Do you know what? Every time I watch him, there's something like Eden Hazard about him that he reminds me. He's got that low centre of gravity, dribbles very quick, cuts back onto his right and left. He's a very good player. I have to admit, Wolves have got that that Portuguese market on lock, man. I know George Mendes works closely with Wolves, man. But they've got players there that you kind of wonder how they've got them. And Podence looks a proper player, a really good player, man. Kim said, Vlahovic is streets ahead of Isaac at present, hence it would make much more sense for us to splash the cash for Dusan rather than Alexander, and I think he would be cheaper. Alexander Isaac's release clause, 77 million. There's rumours you could get Vlahovic for around 60 million because of the length left on his contract. Ryan said, you're right, but look at Pepe's wages too. I mean, Pepe's on 130 and we paid 70 million for him. But at least when we signed him, he was like 23, 24. Bayern Munich were trying to get him. We had to throw money at him. Vlahovic is 21. He's had one big year. It's a bit of a crazy one. Jan Bird said, what do you think of Ben Burton from Blackburn? You know a funny story about this guy, right? So I met this guy a couple of times. He was at Nottingham Forest, and I saw him out a couple of times. I knew a few Forest players. So I saw him a few times, Ben Burton or something. I forget how you pronounce his name. And all of a sudden, this guy went to Blackburn, found out that he had some sort of Chilean grandma or something like that. So he ends up getting selected to play for Chile. So he's a championship player. No one really talking about him. He goes to play for Chile. He ends up scoring in World Cup qualifiers for Chile. He's now called Ben Burton Diaz, I believe. And he's now got like 2 million followers on Twitter or Instagram because of all the South American fans that are following him. I believe Leeds and Newcastle are trying to sign him. It's an amazing turnaround. Crazy story, man. So, yeah, sometimes, you know, find out your family background. You go and play for someone else and it can really blow your career up. That is for certain. But fair play to him. I believe Newcastle are set to make an offer for him. Leon said 45 million plus Torreira for Vlahovic. I think, listen, that would be great business for us. Looking ahead, just looking ahead, people, and I can see there's we got a few more transfer stories to discuss. But one thing I wanted to talk about just briefly was this, because this could affect the way the week is shaping. An exclusive come out of the Mail this morning is that Liverpool fear they will be unable to play their Carabao Cup semi-final first leg against Arsenal as the squad COVID outbreak causes more problems ahead of Thursday's trip to London. Now, of course, we're 48 hours away from Arsenal against Liverpool, Carabao Cup first leg semi-final at the Emirates. And Liverpool have got COVID issues, they've got injury issues. And they're in discussions, apparently, with the Premier League about the game potentially being postponed, which would be a massive blow for Arsenal. Now, I listen, obviously, if they cannot fulfill the fixture due to what's going off, we have to accept it. It is what it is. I suppose from a purely selfish point of view of Arsenal, it would have been a good time to play Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp apparently will not be at the Emirates on Thursday. He obviously tested positive with the virus. He's not available. Liverpool missed Alisson, Firmino and Matip, who contracted the virus. Those three didn't play. Also, they've got no Thiago, no Harvey Elliott, and I believe, obviously, they've lost 3 players to AFCON as well. At the moment, they're saying there's around 12 players who are unavailable for this fixture. I believe they've got injuries as well to Minamino and Origi. So they're struggling. The only thing I would say, they fulfilled a fixture, 24 hours, 48 hours ago against Chelsea. Have they lost a lot of players since then? I don't know. But it is what it is. It's interesting, and we'll have to see if this fixture is fulfilled or not. I've seen a lot of people commenting on social media saying these players that they're talking about, most of them were already unavailable for the Chelsea game. So why did they play the Chelsea game, but now they want this game called off when apparently there aren't new cases since the Chelsea game? I don't know. I'm just seeing what's been said, and we'll have to see. Obviously, I hope the fixture is fulfilled, as I'm looking forward to the game, but we'll have to see if that goes along. Anton said, now a subscriber. Don't know why it said I unsubscribe, but Gini's an absolute steal, Prem proven. It's so rare to find a striker and centre midfielder in this window would be outrageous and can guarantee top four. And I think, and I've said this many times, Anton, is that sometimes as a football club, you have to do business that you weren't planning on doing. I don't think Arsenal were looking at this market and thinking, let's go and spend 70 million on a striker. But I think Arsenal have got an opportunity that they didn't think they were going to get. Because I'm going to be totally honest. At the start of this Premier League season, I sat there and I said the top four it's going to be City, Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool. Because the business that Man United did, I thought they'd be right up there. But they're actually now struggling to even get in the top four. So all of a sudden, an opportunity has presented itself where, hang on a minute, most Arsenal fans thought Arsenal would probably get top 6 or top 7 or 8 this year. All of a sudden, 4th is possible. So I think this board need to go to Mikel Arteta and say, listen, we were going to get a striker in the summer, but if we can get a striker and a midfielder now, we can speed up this process by 6 months to a year and get top 4 this season. So we need to go for it. I think if Arsenal have an opportunity to get these players now, they need to go for it. So listen, it's going to be interesting whether this game goes ahead on Thursday. Liverpool have got a lot of injury problems, a lot of players suffering with the virus. As I said, no Alisson, no Matip, no Firmino, no Thiago, no Harvey Elliott, and obviously no Keita, no Mane, and no Salah. They have a lot of players injured and unavailable at the moment. So from a purely selfish point of view of being an Arsenal fan, it would be a great time to play them. Also, Jurgen Klopp is unavailable as well. Cass said Arsenal might not play again until the Spuds game, as Nottingham Forest game against Barnsley yesterday was cancelled due to COVID. Yep, big up Cass. Something I spoke about yesterday. Obviously, like you've just mentioned, Nottingham Forest game was called off from their point of view because of COVID cases. Now, we play Nottingham Forest on Sunday in the FA Cup. That could mean potentially both Arsenal's games this week are in doubt at the moment due to COVID from the two teams we're supposed to be playing against. So it's a crazy time at the moment. Captain Sal said no goalkeepers now. So is that the issue? I know Kelleher played in goal against Chelsea. I hadn't actually heard that. So obviously if they don't have a goalkeeper available, then I'm pretty sure the game has to be postponed unless the league maybe enable them to sign somebody, but I don't know how it works. Big up Josh, I hope you're well, bro. He said, big up Curtis. Eddie has just found out he has Brazilian heritage and is now changing his name to Eduardo Nketiah da Silva. Eduardo, my guy. I mean, listen, in terms of the Ben Burton case, you know, he found a background that he was able to make it into their squad. I'm not quite sure Eddie makes it into the Brazilian squad, but he can try. You know, Eddie, I'm sure there's someone he can call and do the celebration and try and find his way. Big up Bumpy Johnson, who said Barbados in the house, late, but we are tropical people. Come on, man. No rush, man. That's the beauty of YouTube. Just rewind, man, and catch up. No rush. Captain Sal said, yeah, that's apparently the issue. So Liverpool, by the sound of it then, have no goalkeeper. And this is where the game could get called off. Don said, by the time we play, Partey will be back from AFCON. I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? If these games are delayed for a while, we may get some of these guys back sooner rather than later. So we'll have to see what happens there, but it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. Story developing around Ainsley Maitland-Niles from yesterday. We have a little bit more info on that now. And the Mail report that Ainsley Maitland-Niles' move to Roma has moved significantly closer, with Arsenal set to reach an agreement for the England international's exit this month. And it looks as if he could be on his way. It looks as if he could be on his way. Apparently, Chris Wheatley has just tweeted, somebody said as well. I'm just going to look at what he said. So Chris Wheatley said, what's he said? No, I can't find the tweet, actually, regarding Ainsley. But yeah, apparently the deal could be done in the next 24 to 48 hours, according to ESPN. Roma officially put an offer in for him yesterday. It's believed to be a loan with an option to buy. ESPN reporting that what is delaying the deal is that Arsenal won a £15 million obligation or option to buy. They only won off a 10 million. In fact, it's 10 million euros, forgive me, which is only 8.5 million pounds. Now, I'm sorry. Listen, I want Ainsley Maitland-Niles to go and play football because I think he's been treated very bad by Mikel Arteta. But we still got to bear in mind, this is a 24-year-old, versatile England international with Premier League experience. There's no way Mourinho should be getting Ainsley Maitland-Niles for £8.5 million. We don't owe Mourinho any favours, that's for certain. Snake Eyes, big up, bro. I've replied to you as well, by the way, on Twitter. He said, at the start of the season, we played Brentford and we had COVID. Nobody cared about us. Why should we care? Van Dijk in goal. Oh, my day. Listen, obviously, I don't wish no bad health on any player. But I hear you. We got treated quite harshly when it happened to us, you know. But Ainsley looks as if he's on his way out, and I think Roma would be a fantastic move for him. I think he would do well over there. Big up DJ Dre, who said, Marvelly, Jamaica, you Pembroke Hall area. Listen, man, Ainsley's a proper player, man. I think he's been very mistreated by Arteta. Amo said could have sold him for 20 million. Wolves dropped the 20, man. We rejected it and just, let him rot. Arsenal don't seem to understand the business of selling players when they're at the peak of what they're worth. We hang on to them for too long. Marshall said, Big C, we will beat you even with our B team. Trust me. I mean, let's see. Let's see if Liverpool turn up. It sounds like they're trying to duck out, man. Maybe they've seen that first 45 against City and said, nah, we don't want that smoke. You know what I mean? They said, let's get this delayed until Salah and Mane are back from AFCON. They don't want it with us. But nah, I can't lie. Listen, we've lost to Liverpool B teams in the past. So, it'll be interesting still. They would still have a reasonably strong team out. Footy Chat says, big up Big C in the chat. Hope you're all good. I'm good, bro. Len said, when Leyton Orient had COVID against Spurs got put through. Surely the same rules apply, or will Liverpool have to go to their academy? That is an interesting point. Whether they will force them to play the fixture or not. Black Church and Reggae said, Edu and Arteta will learn from this Ainsley deal. Sell at the peak. They did such a good thing with Joe Willock. They sold a player at the peak of his potential. He'd had a great loan, 25 on the table, get rid of him. And I backed that decision. I was never fully convinced by Joe Willock. I think he's a good young player with a goal in the locker. But I thought 25 million was an unbelievable deal. And at the moment, it's looking a bit daylight robbery-ish. I can't lie. This is looking like one that we can put in there with Oxlade-Chamberlain, with Alex Iwobi, where we actually did good business. And we looked like the team that, came out of that deal in the better shape. Because Joe Willock, I believe, hasn't even scored once this season. Which is why I always say in football, people, sometimes you have to realise whether that is form or whether that is the ability level of the player. Alex said Iwobi was the worst one. I mean, Everton should have called the police for the Iwobi one because that was a robbery. How we got 35 million for Alex Iwobi was just, man. That was incredible business from Arsenal, man. I'm telling you. That one was up there as the best. Willock sits on the bench. Had 6 months as a super sub, banging in the odd goal. And we picked up 25 M's for him. Now he don't even get in the team, don't score. And the money's there. He probably won't get a kick. Joe Willock's brother is doing better than him in the Championship. Is it, I don't know, is it Matt or Chris? I think he's got 2 brothers. One's at QPR, right? Big up Buenos Aires Gunu said, just tuning in. Joe Ash said, Jose's finessing you. And I've said it before, Jose is a troll when it comes to Arsenal. He unsettled Xhaka, offered us 12 million. Now he's unsettling Ainsley. He's offering 10 million euros. Like, come on, be serious. Be serious if you want to sign our players. But it looks as if Ainsley's going to go. I think they've just got to a point where they've said, listen, we can't stand in this guy's way anymore. Arsenal don't want to play him. One thing I would say, where this deal gives me a little bit of hope and optimism, is we know that it's AFCON right now. So we've lost Thomas Partey and Mohamed El Neni. They're going to be gone for potentially 4 weeks. That leaves Arsenal with Granit Xhaka and Sambi Lokonga. That is it. Ainsley would have been the next option in centre midfield. So if you're going to let Ainsley leave the club, who's going to play centre mid if one of those two gets injured? Now, I know we've played Martin Odegaard centrally before, but I don't think that works. I don't think he has the strength really to play in the middle of midfield in the Premier League. So surely, if Arsenal are willing to sign off a deal for Ainsley Maitland-Niles to go to Roma on loan, it's not like they're chucking loads of money at us for us to go and spend it elsewhere. Surely there has to be a midfielder on his way in. As I said earlier in the stream, I was talking about Gini Wijnaldum, and do you know what? Let's just get the figures from the poll, and it looks like a resounding yes already. 83% of you said you would take Gini Wijnaldum on loan. 17% of you said you wouldn't. Now, to me, as I said, it's an absolute no-brainer. We're in no position to be turning down a Champions League winning, Premier League winning, experienced Dutch international midfielder on loan. It's a no-brainer. As I said, as long as there's no obligation to buy him, because I wouldn't want to give 200 grand a week to a 31-year-old. Fuzzy said, Curtis, I love your stream from a Spurs fan. Big up, bro. Although, you know, your choice of club worries me, but hey, someone's got to support them. But nah, I appreciate the support. Nick says, Guendouzi. I mean, don't start it. Don't start that one, man. You're going to set the whole stream off. You know, we've got a certain 21, 22-year-old French international, you know, France, the world champions, and he's in their squad. Out on loan, he's going to sign for Marseille for around 10 million, but I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Big trouble. Arsenal are still so 50-50 when it comes to business. I can't lie, Nick. Like, on one hand, I applaud Arsenal for for Joe Willock, for Iwobi and those kind of deals in the past. But on the other hand, we've still let Mavropanos go for 3.5 million. He's now being linked with a move to Borussia Dortmund. We know what happens when players go to Dortmund. They tend to do very well and get sold for big money. We've still let Lacazette, Kolasinac, El Neni, and Eddie Nketiah all run down their contract. They're all probably going to leave for nothing. You know, so we still have to learn. We still got more learning to do. Don't let players with value run their contract down. Lacazette should have been sold last summer if you weren't going to renew his contract. So, you know, big up Jasmeet, who said tested positive. Big up Curtis for the stream. Get well soon. And hope you recover well. Nick said Mavropanos will go for 35 million. You know what happens. He's going to go to Dortmund. He's going to be a beast. He'll end up getting bought by somebody even bigger. And we'll be sitting there going, yeah, we sold him for 3.5 million. He'll probably end up at Bayern Munich. He'll be Gnabry part 2. And Mikel's just said it, in fact. It's going to be a Gnabry. I never understood why we sold Mavropanos for 3.5 million. He's 6'4". He's quick. He's in his early 20s. You know, we should have got more money for him. That is for certain. And somebody was just saying there, a certain centre-back. I've missed the comment. Yeah, a certain centre-back who is also at Marseille. But, you know, I think it's best we don't talk about that. Because, again, that one triggers people. A certain William Saliba. But, hey, hopefully he's back next week. Next season, sorry. I wish he was back next week. Namar said, Liverpool cancelled training that was supposed to be on today at 4 p.m. Don't do it. It's not looking good, is it? If they've cancelled training, they're, you know, this game could be in doubt. It could be in doubt if they're cancelling training. I mean, I'm just looking now on socials. I haven't seen it, but listen, Liverpool are clearly trying to get out of the game for whatever reason. They're not happy. Jashar said, big up Curtis, who will play centre mid? Callum Chambers. We can't be going down that route. We can't have Callum Chambers playing centre mid for Arsenal. Big up Taron Chambers. Big up to you, bro, for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. Looking at now doing probably a member stream every 2 weeks. We had a brilliant member stream yesterday. So for anybody that's just joined or you've been joined for a while, big up to you for your input. And let's have a look. It's okay. We have Rob Holding. I mean, we saw Rob Holding, mate, at full effect the other day with that silly header he did. Marshall said nothing official. Yeah, okay. So the game's still on as of at the moment, but we'll have to see. But yeah, let's get some of your comments in before we round up, people. That's pretty much it for the transfer news. Ainsley on his way to Roma. Aubameyang scored in his first friendly today for Gabon. Vlahovic being linked. Can we afford the money? Can we get him? Anton said, how do you become a member? So on the main page, it should say join next to subscribe. Although apparently there's a fault at the moment. If you're on an iPhone, it doesn't give you the option to join for some reason. If you're on Android, it should. If not, you may have to do it through a laptop. Don't ask me why, people. But it's just some sort of issue that YouTube has got with an iPhone at the moment. Craig said Chambers' natural position is centre mid, but he's not at the level. I agree, because I mean, I think Chambers will probably get sold at the end of the season. Simon, you know what? I forgot about that. Yeah, Mikel Arteta will be back on the bench for Arsenal on Thursday. Apparently, he's come back with a negative test. He's clear. I think they even said he was going to be at training today. So Mikel Arteta will be back on the bench this Thursday as long as the game is still on. And now that'll be the end of AirPod Albert's reign as manager. He did do well, and it just, unfortunately we didn't get the 3 points. But remember last time Mikel Arteta had a bit of a Barney on the touchline with a certain Jurgen Klopp. Well, Jurgen Klopp will not be there, of course. He has got the virus and wouldn't be there. So, yeah, but it looks like Mikel will be back. How will the players respond to having, all of this going off on the touchline, which we didn't see the other day? We saw a very calm AirPod Albert. Regan said, I want this game to go ahead. Really, it's our one chance to beat them. I mean, we've got a pretty full squad apart from the players that have gone to AFCON. Liverpool have got a number of players missing, so we'll have to see. Saeed said, you are right, Kurt. I'm on an iPhone. It won't allow me to join as a member. I think the way you can do it, if you click like desktop version of it, I think you can do it like that. If you go through the mobile version, it won't let you do it. I don't know why. There's something with iPhone and YouTube. They're clashing over something. Tarun said the team looked like they had no handbrake under Albert. I kind of get the impression where he's come in and probably said, listen, I'm in charge for one game. You've done your planning all week. Go and enjoy yourselves. Go and express yourself. And the team might have actually been more relaxed, which can happen sometimes, So we'll have to see. We will have to see. Every day I'm waffling said, Big C, did you watch the Mbappe interview when he said he's not sure to ever play for Spurs? He actually laughed about it as well. I think that there was a Tottenham fan interviewing him, and he said, would you go to Tottenham? And he just laughed, and he said, it's impossible. So I'm glad Mbappe understands the mission at hand. You don't do silly things like that. Fitz Joseph, big up to you, bro, said the performance against City was great progress. However, I believe we would have seen performances like that a lot sooner if we had changed manager. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm trying my best to be positive about Mikel Arteta right now. I'm trying. I have to admit, I'm still not fully convinced. And some people may say, what? I'm still not fully convinced because the mission hasn't been completed yet. But it is better. It is better. And listen, I've said many times that I wanted Conte. I think Conte is an elite manager. I will never look at Conte the same way now because he's managed them lot down the road. So, that's over. But we are where we are, Fitz, and whether we wanted Arteta or not, whether you're a fan of him or not, even though I do probably agree with what you're saying. I think a better manager would have got us further down the line quicker. He's here. The club are going to stick with him. We're going to have to back him. And at least I can say we are seeing progress. And Sean said, come on, Curtis, you're starting to like Arteta. Do you know what it is with me? I never liked or disliked him. I didn't like what he was producing. I didn't like the man management. I didn't like the style of football. I'm starting to see an Arsenal team at the moment that I'm watching and I'm enjoying. I enjoyed that Manchester City game. Well, most of it. If we're seeing a team that we can believe in and we feel like we're going somewhere, we're going to back it. It's as simple as that. And I am enjoying it. All I'm saying is, because someone said this to me the other day, they said, oh, are you now fully on board with Arteta? And I said, I'm getting there, but I'm not there. And they sort of said, well, why are you not fully there yet? And I said, because we haven't completed the mission yet. You know what I mean? We haven't completed it. I remember watching Unai Emery, 22 games unbeaten. I went to every home game pretty much that season. And we weren't there yet, but we were acting like we were there. We were singing, we've got our Arsenal back. Everything was rosy in the garden. Then we messed up against Palace, messed up against Brighton, and then we went to Baku and done what we did over there. So, and this is what it is. I feel unfair. I feel unfair with Arteta. When we do well, he gets credit. When we're poor, he gets criticised. There's no agenda. But I'm enjoying it. Two Black said Emery didn't have the same vibe as this Arteta side. What I will say, where I will give Arteta some more credit than Unai Emery, when I watched Unai Emery's Arsenal, I had individual brilliance vibes about Arsenal. It kind of reminded me of Ollie's Manchester United, where I remember going to loads of games where I was like, we're not playing that well, and Aubameyang would score, or Lacazette would score, and all of a sudden we'd win the game. That season, the one thing that really happened under Unai Emery was our attacking players were on fire. Aubameyang won the Golden Boot. Lacazette won Arsenal Player of the Season. Iwobi got a £35 million move. Our attacking players were doing bits under Unai Emery. I never really felt like we had the whole package. Where one thing that I give credit for Arteta, if I was to put this into an analogy, I feel like the base of the house was unstable under Arsene Wenger. And Unai Emery tried to build on top of that, and eventually the bricks fell off. Where I feel like Arteta came in and smashed down the whole house and said, listen, if this is going to work, we got to rebuild this house. We got to build them foundations. So I feel like Arteta made the job bigger for himself than what Unai Emery had. But that's probably what was necessary for Arsenal to go somewhere long term. So I do get the impression that what Arteta's building is something that we may be able to build towards long term, but we still have to complete the mission. I just think, I don't know how anybody else is feeling. I want to get your opinions before we round up the show today. I said at the start of this season that I felt Arsenal, the best we would get is top 6. I actually predicted Arsenal would finish 7th, but I hoped we would get back in Europe, top 6. The way I'm thinking now, I think Arsenal need to get in the top 4. I think Arsenal need to get top 4 because I think there's an opportunity there. And sometimes in life, in football, you have to take opportunities when they present themselves. Like I said, at the start of this season, I would have said there's no way we can get top 4. We're not good enough. But the way Man United are kind of all over the place right now, I don't think they like that manager. Ronaldo is not performing. I think there's problems there at Manchester United. So for me, that 4th place is wide open. I would say Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, maybe West Ham. 4 teams fighting for 4th. If we get top 4, this process accelerates itself by 2 years. And then see if Vlahovic's agent keeps ignoring the phone. If we're in the Champions League. Because Arsenal in the Champions League is a monster. We're back. We're building. We're signing top players. I think we need to get 4th. And it may be optimistic. But I just think the opportunity has presented itself and we need to get it. Zach said top four would convince me fully to back Arteta. 100%. We would have to. Sean said, are you Arteta out if we don't get top four? Am I Arteta out if we don't get top four? I would be disappointed. Do you know what? There's a way that he can miss top four and still make it kind of a positive. If we finished like fifth and we were like 4 points off fourth and we just missed out and we won the Carabao Cup or we won the FA Cup, I could still see that with some sort of positive outlook. But if we end up finishing sixth and Tottenham went and got fourth and they finished 7 points clear of us and we didn't win a trophy, I would look at that as a failure. So it kind of depends on the circumstances of it, Sean, you know. If we got top six and won a trophy, I could probably get my head around that. But I think top four's there. Arsenal get top four this season, PS5 giveaways. Why not, people? You never know. You never know. You haven't seen that side to me yet. You've only seen me, you know, doing Arsenal therapy and going crazy. You haven't seen that side of me when we start winning. I'll be shameless, people. You know what I mean? I'll be crazy. Carrington said top six and a trophy or two. Yeah, I think that would still be a positive. Shamba said, trust me, Big C, we are finishing 8th of May 2022. And I mean, listen, let's hope we finish high in the table, man. I don't want to see us, you know, I don't want to be back in the Europa League, but beggars can't be choosers. Captain Sal said, nah, Curtis, you will get fourth, I'm certain. I love that certainty, man. I love it. And that's from a Liverpool fan. We will hold you to that. You can hold me to that, man. The proof's there. I don't delete no videos. If we completely capitulate out of top four, serious questions need to be asked. And I hear you on that. I hear you on that, man. Like, if it's in our hands and we throw it away, then you do have to ask questions. Because to me, this is one thing I will say against Arteta. Arteta took over a team that had finished fifth the year before, that should have got top four. He's finished eighth twice. So even if he got Arsenal sixth this season, and we're back in Europe, and Arsenal's PR will dress that up as some sort of miracle. But the reality is, we sacked managers for finishing fifth. Wenger finished fifth, got sacked. Emery finished fifth, got sacked. Arteta's finished eighth and eighth. Even if he finishes sixth, is that really major progress? When you think about he spent 240 million? I don't know. To me, it's just a pat on the back. We're back in Europe. It's a little baby step forward. I just think we need top four. I need top four at Arsenal. Fitz said, I see your point, but how can we accept losing against awful Everton and Man U? I mean, listen, I totally agree with you. We should have won both them games. This is just a strange season at the moment. You know, you look at some of the results this season. Palace beat Man City. You know, Wolves beat Manchester United yesterday. The results are a little bit wild, I think, because of COVID and this whole pandemic. You can turn up for a game, you know, you can train all week and have a full squad, and all of a sudden, by the Friday, you've lost 3 or 4 of your best players, and you've still got to play that game. So it's a season like no other. And there needs to be somebody that takes advantage of it. And for once, make it Arsenal. Let's be that club that take advantage of other things going wrong at other clubs. You know what I mean? Let's make sure we're the ones that benefit from it. I just think if you finished 8th last season and you spent 150 million, I expect to see significant improvement. 6th is not significant when you've finished 8th for 2 years. So it's circumstantial. If he gets top 6, wins a trophy, maybe we move. If he gets top 6 with no trophy, I still think questions need to be asked. DV said, Big C, your streams are addicted. I appreciate that, bro. Damon, big up to you for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. And look out on the community page for all the updates, and I'll try and keep you updated. Cello said, consistency is the key, Big C. It's what I'm saying. At the moment, my one concern with Arsenal is Lacazette. I look at every other position on the pitch and I think, and maybe Thomas Partey as well, I look and I think, if somebody gets injured there, we're in trouble. If Lacazette gets injured, who plays up front for Arsenal? If Aubameyang's going, maybe Martinelli plays through the middle. It wouldn't surprise me if this brother played Eddie Nketiah, and I do not want to see that. I think Mikel Arteta should be knocking on Josh Kroenke's door and saying, Josh, I know you gave me 150 in the summer. I appreciate it, but bro, we need to go and spend money right now. You might even have to give me some of the money from the summer right now. If you were to give me 120 in the summer, I need 70 of it now, because I'm going to go and buy Vlahovic, and I'm going to go and get Gini Wijnaldum on loan or something like that. I think a striker, a quality striker and a good centre mid could get Arsenal top 4 this season. So we'll have to see. We will have to see. Man said, Eddie, call him. Me not call him, boss. Me not call him. Leave Eddie, man. His phone's off. Sal said, avoid key injuries and fourth is yours. I think we've got a great chance. People. Graham said, Curtis, let's go one game at a time. Deal with Spurs and move on. Spurs still need to go away to the Etihad, Anfield, Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford. They won't get many points from those. That North London derby next week, I believe it's next weekend. Honestly, that game is absolutely humongous. I think you're going to see scenes on this channel you've never seen, one way or another. The game is absolutely massive because they're close to us and they've got games in hand. We need to create some space. I was saying this yesterday. Arsenal have played Manchester City twice. By the start of January, we've already played the best team in the country, home and away. We've played Liverpool at Anfield. We've played Man United at Old Trafford. We've played Leicester away, Everton away. Obviously, we still got Tottenham and Chelsea away. By the time we play Tottenham next week, we'll have played them home and away as well. I think we've got quite a decent run of fixtures towards the end of the season. I actually can't wait for that Tottenham game. I'm so excited for it already. I'm thinking about it. If we can beat them, we're in a great position, man. We are in an absolutely brilliant position. So, like you said, people, consistency is key. I think we are moving in the right direction. I'm seeing a lot more reason for optimism. I'm seeing fans that were very anti-Arteta and anti what was happening, including me, myself. I was one of the biggest ones of him. I'm starting to see things that I can believe in now. I'm seeing a back four and a goalkeeper that are working together. Partnerships all over the pitch. Tomiyasu's been a great signing. Ramsdale's looked good. Ben White's improving. We've just got to keep stepping forward. You can't stand still in the Premier League. And I just think we need that midfielder and that striker if we're gonna achieve anything. I like Sean saying it's Antonio Conte. He's a serious manager. Michaela, I'm starting to see light. I said this many times, people. I can see the light, but it's not a bright light yet. It's a light in the distance. I want to see that brightness, you know. If we beat Tottenham away from home, I believe we haven't beaten them away from home for 8 years in the league. So we need to win that. But listen, big up to everyone for tuning in today. Another great stream. Really appreciate your time and effort. 2,000 of you in the chat. Smash that like. And people, if you haven't subscribed already, lick that subscribe button. Can we hit 40,000 subscribers today? We only need 200 more. I haven't checked how many we got today, but we need 200 more. Tomorrow I'm going to try and get a Liverpool. I've spoke to a couple of Liverpool YouTubers. We may do 2 shows tomorrow, actually. I may do the 2 o'clock one and then do the Liverpool one later in the afternoon. And we'll preview the Arsenal-Liverpool game. So big up to all of you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone's comments and interaction as usual. Hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.